reheating our oil.
You gave me a taste earlier. That was so good.
You know what? This is
I'm
really
excited.
good. Hey, you remember the Asian wings that I made? Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at those. How did we make those, Mrs. Farmer? So what I'm going to do is take probably 1/3 of a cup. This is for about 35 wings, if I had to guess, because I can eat 30 myself and you'll eat 5.
Oh, thanks.
And then we're going to come in with our Bangkok peanut sauce. That has got the peanut butter taste, and it's also got some spicy flavors, some ginger, and probably, I'm going to say, a tablespoon of that. You don't need a whole lot of that. You might want to go a little more. Then you're going to take some soy sauce. Now I'm going to put probably, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce in there. I'm going to come back with some sesame oil. This is largely for flavor and to thicken things up. Got to have that. And I'm going to put probably a 3/4 of a teaspoon in there. I've never measured this. I'm going to take some of our honey, and I'm going to put probably a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon.
Means I get to eat it?
Our honey, yep. It's all yours. Then we're going to take some brown sugar, and I'm going to probably put, I don't know, a tablespoon and a half of that in there, maybe 2.
3.
Now, there's no calories in that. You believe that?
That's delicious.
So I'm going to take that over here. I'm going to heat that up on this burner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up just a little bit, reduce it down just a little bit, and then I'm going to set it off to cool and let it thicken up. Almost forgot, red pepper flakes. Just enough to give it a little bit. I don't want it to have a real burn. Just want to have a little hint of heat in there. When it all comes together, we're going to bring a bowl out, pop our wings out. All right, now we're going to take our sauce and we're going to mix in this. Then we're going to come back with some sesame seeds, and we're going to just take those sesame seeds and just turn them over. It's going to stick to them, and it gives them a nice little flavor. It's subtle, but to add to the other flavors, it's absolutely beautiful. That's a good recipe too. Maybe take a peek back. If you want to try these and have never tried them, oh my goodness, they're outstanding.
Yeah.
But we want to try some honey mustard-ish type things.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about my sauce, my glaze.
Right.
And I thought, okay, there's 2 different ways we can do this. And we have all kinds of mustard. We have some stone ground mustard. We have some sweet and spicy sandwich mustard that I really like.
Yeah.
Then we have some Dijon. There's so many, and just regular yellow mustard.
Yeah.
So I did all kinds of combinations. And the 2 top winners were stone ground mustard with the Dijon and apple cider vinegar.
Good.
Then the honey. That was good.
I ate that with a spoon.
That was really good. But it was, you know, with the mustard and the vinegar, there's a lot of vinegar there.
Makes it good.
Makes your eyes light up a little bit. But the winner was, and we'll show you this in a minute, but it's the sweet and spicy mustard. Then we use a Chardonnay Dijon to give it that nice little bite. And then we came back with some red wine vinegar, which was a little less bitey than the apple cider vinegar. And then we come back with our honey.
So good.
Outstanding. But what are we going to do with our wings, Mrs. Farmer?
I don't know, what are you going to do?
Show folks how you cut yours up. Of course, most people already know this, but
when you buy them.
There's a bunch of folks that ask us, how do you do this? How do you do that? We forget sometimes that people are just starting to cook sometimes. We're finding folks, Nikki, in their 50s and 60s who are just starting to cook. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
If you have a sharp knife, it goes through pretty good, but I like to break it. Don't you think? Break the bone.
Yep, absolutely.
See
Get
where
that
the good cut
knuckle
is. Go through the skin here.
Because we're from Kentucky and we know people who knew Colonel Sanders. And one thing he would admitted, he soaked his chicken in milk or buttermilk.
Yes, he did.
Now, one thing I want to do with my oil, I keep a very close watch on my oil. You do not want your oil to get to the 375, 400 mark.
Right.
I actually, on my candy thermometer here, I actually start cooking at about 325. And I find 325 to 340 in there.
Right.
You won't get as burnt, as dark an end product. So what we're doing today, this particular covering, it burns on a little dark.
But it
so I'm keeping my oil down, but it makes it really good.
so good.
So, again, we don't like a whole lot of breading, but we do like to
flavor the skin up. That's what you
crisp
do.
it up.
Yeah, and you make it crispy.
So what we're going to do, I have bought just a store-bought dry ranch seasoning.
Yeah.
You can make dip out of it, whatever.
Yeah.
Now we also make some of this ourselves. There's a homemade way you can make it as well. We make our own ranch dressing. You can look that up on our site as well. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take that and we're gonna put a little bit of cayenne in it, just to give it a little heat. I want a little heat in this. Nothing crazy, just enough to get some heat in there. I'm gonna mix that up, and we already put some Tell cherry pepper in there.
Gotta do that.
You gotta have some black pepper in there. And yet, in fact, I probably need a little bit more. Because last weekend, we went fishing. While we were gone, people thought that the Goodyear blimp was flying by. It was not the Goodyear blimp. It was the Pepper Bandit blimp. That's how he gets around now, because it's quiet. He came over at night, no lights, ran down a cord to our house, went down the chimney. I thought Santa was the only one who could do that.
That's right.
Comes in, grabs 14 pounds of Tell cherry pepper.
That is crazy.
He runs off. I fired a warning shot.
Good
He
idea.
dropped 3 pounds.
Really?
And he made it back into his dirigible.
Wow.
And off he went. They say he's in like Antarctica now.
Wow.
The Pepper Bandit is out of control. Now, as we say, when you do this breading, it burns in there a little hot, so I'm gonna keep my temperature down. And I'm gonna let those go for 5 to 8 minutes in there. And all we're gonna do, now again, we put some cayenne pepper in here. What that does is that seasons that outside with, it has a beautiful
Oh,
tangy
so good,
flavor.
yeah.
It's got the salt and it's got the pepper.
Makes the meat delicious.
Now, our oil's a little bit dark.
That's because we had some earlier. You actually fed me before the show. I'm not starving, but I'm
Exactly.
hungry, but I got a little snack, so that's good.
But let me tell you what, this is
That's
kind of
good.
magic. And I'm sure I'm not the only person to ever think of this, because we've tried it before on fried chicken, and it really adds something.
Yeah.
Think about what we got going tonight. You know, usually we have an entree and we have, maybe a soup, or this is just flat out
Just eat everything.
good
Snacks,
stuff.
yeah.
Some nights, and a lot of times we eat dinner late. We usually have a late lunch. Very rarely eat breakfast. Have a late lunch, and a lot of times we end up hungry at 11 o'clock at night.
That's dinner.
Next thing you know, we got some hot oil going.
That's right. That smells pretty
Doesn't
good.
it smell good?
Yes, it does. Yum. Those look amazing. I'm excited.
Oh, Mrs. Farmer.
Those look so good, and they smell delicious.
Beautiful, wonderful.
Wow.
And again, I went a little lower on the temperature. I'm not going all the way up to 375, trust me on that. Look
Yummy.
at those, look at those.
Oh.
And they're perfect, like you smell the spice on them. And remember, I put a little bit of cayenne in there.
Those look so good.
So look, oh, you could eat them like that,
Yeah.
Mrs. Farmer.
Yummy.
But let's put those in the oven, keep
Okay.
them warm. And your meatballs are getting close, are they not?
I think it's about time to pull those out too.
My sauce, this is the one we voted to be the best.
They were all good, but yeah, this
They were
was
all good, but
delicious.
this was really exceptional for the wings. I'm gonna take equal parts of the sweet and spicy mustard and the Dijon mustard. Equal parts, and this is probably just a heaping tablespoon, I would say.
Scrape it for
Ms.
you.
Farmer, I'm gonna let you do that.
Scrape those in.
Scrape those in if you will.
Well,
And we're just adding to the sauce that we already made. That was the test run. And then we're gonna come back with equal parts honey.
where'd you get the honey?
It's a local outfit, and it's absolutely delicious. Some folks we met in Georgetown.
Let me wipe that.
Yes, please.
I can try it for you.
Now we're going to take a little red wine vinegar. We tried apple cider vinegar. It was almost a little bit much. This is a little more subtle.
That's so good.
We're going to let that come to a slow, little, tiny baby boil, then we're going to cut it back. Oh my gosh, Nikki, we're all sauced up. Can I have a taste of that?
You can. See what you think. See if it needs anything.
Needs nothing.
Okay.
You know, the bourbon gives it a nice little smoky.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, we're out of control, Mrs. Farmer.
I'm starving. Yes, so
No,
good.
we got to meet in the middle. We got to
All
play
right.
by the rules.
Some
Oh,
wings?
we met already. Here we
Eat a
go.
wing. I already knew those were good. Those are so good.
The great thing about this, to me, you have not a lot of breading, but you have a lot of flavor.
It's like you do have breading. Though.
You get the salt
yeah,
and the
it's good.
flavor, and you taste all that seasoning on there. Then you add to the salty, flavorful, outside crunchy skin,
Right.
that wonderful honey and mustard.